producers from ORF have revealed the running order for the first semi-final of Eurovision 2015. Let's quickly review it. Opening the show is Moldova, followed by Armenia, then Belgium, the Netherlands, and Finland. Then there's a commercial break, and the sixth act is Greece, Estonia, former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, then Serbia, Hungary, Belarus, Russia. Then we have another commercial break, and then the 13th act is Denmark, followed by Albania, Romania, and closing the show, Ninu Subladi, the warrior from Georgia. Now, you guys, there are a lot of theories running around, and I'm going to posture this first one. Being in spot number 3 is bad luck. Belgium's Loch Na Tet is third. What are your thoughts?
I think it is the point that only 3 songs have qualified from from position number 3, and Loch he has a really good song, so I do think even with that curse on that position, he still has a good chance. But everybody thought that Tanya would probably qualify last year, and she didn't. And you know, it could happen that he won't make it out of the semi-final, which would be a huge shame.
And what are the 3 acts that have qualified from position 3?
It was Harold Scott, Eleftheria from Greece, and Carl Espen qualified last year. So quite different songs as well, all of them.
I can see words dripping from Porig's tongue. Porig.
Well, I think in one way, like, it's just superstition really at the end of the day that third place doesn't work. Because if we look at Harold Scott, Israel have an abysmal qualifying record in recent years. So that Harold Scott managed to get out, I wouldn't put that past. I wouldn't say that would immediately knock Belgium out of the running. I think it could all come down to the live performance, and they need to do a very good performance and not mess it up. Because the song itself is good, they need to have the live performance that will stick in people's memory. And it's such a different song, and compared to the first two are Moldova and Armenia, they're basically awful. So, like, the show doesn't start in Belgium. Yes, once he doesn't completely cock it up.
Patrick.
Yeah, I don't think that the third position will hurt Belgium really much. I mean, Belgium has a special song, and Loa can sing really well. And I think with a great performance, it will be memorable enough for people to vote for it. And as Porek already pointed out, the first 2 songs aren't really bad. So I don't think that it will hurt him or Belgium.
There are 6 acts that our readers are convinced will go through to the final, but they occur one after the other in the running order. They are Armenia, Belgium, the Netherlands, Finland, Greece, and Estonia. And as Chris pointed out before we got on this call, 6 consecutive acts, have not advanced to the final in quite some time. Chris, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, 6 songs have never qualified in a row together since 2009. It's just not happened. So for those 6 to make it through would upset the record books. But again, they're just stats and figures. Doesn't necessarily mean a lot with song quality. But you do have to look at it and think maybe there's going to be something a bit strange here.
My fear in the 6 we isolated from Armenia to Greece would be the Netherlands. I think that song going early doesn't help it. I just feel like it's going to be lost because it's not sufficiently strong to stand out, and especially so early, it's just a bit forgettable. And the other point would be Greece performing after the commercial break. I don't know, after Finland, all that noise, are people going to want to take a break from Eurovision, pop to the loo, grab a drink, then come back, and then you'll miss Maria-Elena screeching about her last breath. And the thing is, I love Maria-Elena's song, so I'm slightly worried that they've put her in 6th.
I'm delighted.
Oh, I knew you were that. Do you think that matters, the commercial break?
I don't know, like, well, it all depends on the countries that are voting as well, because some countries go to ads, other countries stay in the arena, like BBC just talk in the green room or whatever, so it's like...
Yeah, like Austria loves their commercials, and in Eurovision they just completely turn off the commercials and don't care about the show anymore. That's normal for the ORF, and I think that will hurt Greece probably, and as you said, after Finland, all that noise, I don't think that's a good position for Greece, and of course for the Netherlands, because people could forget it after the Finland. After Finland, I think Netherlands and Greece are in big trouble.
And one of our readers, Yorgos, he actually says, quote, Well, as being a Greek, I don't believe that our position is that bad. It is a small disadvantage that we appear after the commercial break and before Estonia, but this does not mean that we will not qualify because of the running order. So it's interesting. Do you think the producers wanted to protect Estonia by putting it not after a commercial break, but after the act that's after?
Estonia kind of feels like one of those countries in this year at least where they are kind of untouchable no matter where you put them, because I can't see Goodbye to Yesterday not qualifying no matter what. It's the same with like Sweden. They could have put them anywhere, and I think they've actually chosen to put them after the commercial break in the second semi-final, which obviously we'll get on to. But I do think it's weird coming back into Greece. I think it's a slow song. It does get dramatic afterwards, but Birds was after the commercial break in 2013 with Anouk, and she did perfectly fine. It didn't really harm to have such a slow and morose song on after it. So I don't think that the commercial break will harm them too much, because there's usually at least a bit of banter between the presenters as well before you immediately get into the song. It's not like, okay, back from the commercial break, here's Greece. There's usually like a little minute or two to get ready again, so they might be okay, but they would also be one of the ones that I'd be a little bit worried about.
And have you noticed Romania is performing next to last? And if I recall, Paula Selling and Ovi performed last, and also Caesar performed last, if I'm not mistaken. Romania, they have a tendency to put them towards the end, and Romania always goes through. I guess with that in mind, my question is this. Do you think going at the end is an advantage? This year, that will be Albania, Romania, Georgia in the first semi-final.
I think it's really an advantage for Romania. Albania and Georgia, I think both of them, I'm not a fan of Georgia, but I can understand why people would remember it and why it stands out. And Albania is just so good, I think it could stand out regardless of where it is. Whereas Romania, it's very, like, it would pass you by. And I think if they were in one of the earlier slots, we'd be saying, oh, Romania are in big danger. So I think Romania are really benefiting from being second last.
Yeah, I think so too, but I'm not sure about Georgia. I mean, it could be a good sign that they performed last, but it could be a really bad sign as well, because it happened that the last song didn't qualify, and Georgia is not like the one who everybody likes. So I can see Georgia in trouble as well, but as Porek said, Romania, that's a big advantage for them performing second last.
Yeah, I mean, it was Moya 3 are the only performers that performed last in the semis and didn't qualify, and to be fair, that was for a whole load of reasons other than where they were drawn. I do think that Romania getting that position is a really big advantage for them, and I think that might be the thing that pushes Denmark out, because I think there's kind of similarities between two kind of rockier kind of boy bands. I wouldn't really call Voltage a boy band necessarily, but it's the same kind of thing, two male groups, and I do think that that could really spell the end of Denmark. I think the one that I'm surprised most at is the fact that Belarus kind of got buried in the running order as well, because they're really sort of just like lost in the middle somewhere, and they've got Hungary before them, Russia afterwards. That's going to either stand out for the best, or it's going to just completely tank the two of them.
I feel like Bogi, whatever her name is, from Hungary, should be satisfied that she's performing after Serbia, because that is such a stark contrast from Bojana's, like, you know, very loud vocal powerhouse, semi-dancing, to go to the very quiet softness of Hungary. It's going to stand out. I don't know if that's going to save it, but I think that it's going to help it, because if Hungary had been placed after another ballad or another slow song, I think people would have been so bored from the previous song, they would have completely zoned out, whereas at least this will be a change of pace in the right direction.
Yeah, and there's quite a contrast between it and Belarus then as well. So maybe that might help Belarus, because Belarus is kind of upbeat in the middle of two ballads as well.
Yeah. Do you guys think that the running order for anyone has sabotaged them completely? Like they were a borderline qualifier and now they're out?
I don't think
Moldova.
so.
If Moldova had been a little bit later on, and I think Macedonia as well, I think that Daniel's going to get completely lost, especially after you've got Estonia before him and then Serbia, which are both really powerful. I think Autumn Leaves is going to get completely lost in the middle of it all.